So I'm looking forward to seeing this match in action. And I'm looking forward to seeing Sultai versus Jun Sacrifice. Let's see who can outvalue the other one.
Yeah, Rei Sato looking for a top finish, but currently at the top of the MPL standings. So Rei has just been crushing these league plays so far. So it's going to be nice to see him in the tournament setting again.
Well, we are joining this game in game number 2, this match in game number 2. We've got a Midnight Reaper down, a Noxious Grasp ready and waiting to take care of this Elder Gargaroth, and an Ether Gust with an Extinction Event in hand for Seth Manfield.
Yeah, deep into this match here, you gotta like. I mean, this really is pretty. How did we draw Gigantha? That must have been an Aether Gust target, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone draw that card.
That's likely what happened there. Is Noxious Grasp is going to take care of this Elder Gargaroth. Any consideration to Ether Gust this back to hand, or are we just keeping our eye on Gigantha?
I think a huge consideration to doing this. And Seth, as far as I've watched him in the past, we see from Mythic Invitational when he played Sultai to a very high finish, he is not afraid to Aether Gust his own permanents, being how high impact they are when in the form of Nissa, Elder Gargaroth, or Uro. So I love this play here.
So no Noxious Grasp for you, Rei Sato, as Elder Gargaroth returns to the top of the library, but that clears the way for Gigantha to come on down next turn. Or even this turn if the Phyrexian Tower takes the Midnight Reaper out.
Yeah, that would be pretty aggressive, but we do see Rei thinking about it here. But getting rid of one of your resources here for another one when they're both really good cards, it's interesting. I could see it going either way. I think I would lean on not, but, he's in the MPL. I am not. So we'll see what Rei does.
I love the little swirl there on the card as if it's going to tell you the answer.
Yes, Gigantha, speak to me. Tell me what you want.
The Wellspring speaks. But no, we're going to let the Midnight Reaper live another turn. Funny enough, though, those cards are both odd. So if Extinction Event is required, they're going to be taken care of pretty easily, but Elder Gargaroth is as well a 5 CMC card. That's certainly bigger than both of those creatures, but Noxious Grasp again off the top. So, fooled me once, shame on you, fooled me twice. No, you're not going to be doing any of that Ether Gusting this time.
This was probably the biggest train wreck situation here, is that another Noxious Grasp would be drawn from Rei Sato here, because now not only is Seth losing his Gargaroth, but he lost a draw step because of it. So it was a real cost to gust your own card, and that is the worst case scenario, what Rei just drew there. So brutal stuff.
So now the consideration for Gigantha is even higher, considering Seth Manfield's on 5 life. So that's a 5/5 last time I checked.
Yeah, it's a lot more tempting now. We know the Extinction Event is not known information here, so Rei might think like Seth just has a land in hand, which if you're Seth, you would probably hold on to a land right now, an untapped land like a Drowned Catacombs or something. So I would understand a play this turn. I think I'd still lean with no, but
an Essence Scatter to deal with it anyways.
Yeah. That was a big pickup here. Seth has the option now of firing off Extinction Event, but it's not as good against Midnight Reaper as it looks on surface value with that Witch's Oven.
Yeah, there's Witch's Oven and the Phyrexian Tower, so 2 sack outlets.
Yep.
Able to delete this Midnight Reaper from existence, finds a Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Ayla, you want to hear some bad news if you're a Seth Manfield fan?
I do indeed.
There's only 2 Noxious Grasps in the 75 for Rei Sato, no. So just having both of those there was so devastating.
Oh, goodness me.
Wow. Nice draw by Rave that last turn for sure.
Just a hand of gas, man.
Yeah.
Looks so good. I've got to think Rei Sato is primed to pick up the game number 2 here in this matchup. But Essence Scatter will take care of one of these creatures. And then Seth is going to have to find something.
Yeah, luckily for Seth, I mean, his top decks are outrageous. Krasis, Nissa, something like that can change this game in a heartbeat. But yeah, Essence Scatter doesn't look so good when you target a Scrap Heap Scrounger and then they bring it back. So it'll be interesting here if Rei wants to go for the more conservative line of playing Scrounger, or just see that my opponent's at 5. I want to play my 5/5. Love this play, though. Love the conservative line.
Yeah, very heads up. Now we're going to see the sacrifice, it seems, to get the Gigantha out. Yep. And Essence Scatter are going to take care of Gigantha. So now Rei Sato is left with the Playcrafter, but this recursive threat in Scrappy Scrounger may come in to save his day.
Yeah, that's going to be super big here. Not exactly what you wanted here, but the battlefield is clear for this one turn, so not too bad. And we do got a castle, so a little risky, but...
The Zagoth Triome is the draw. Not what you wanted to find.
Yeah, just debating whether or not you want to play the Triome here or cycle it, valuing top decking Krasis for a large amount a little bit more.
Kitty Cat's here.
Ooh.
This is going to put an even quicker clock on Seth Manfield, so I don't even know if there's a way you can come back from this now with Scrappy Scrounger, Playcrafter, and... oh, well...
Thoughtsy's ain't it. Thoughtsy's
go
ain't
on your own terms. Go on your own terms, Seth Manfield.
Yeah, that had to have been the worst possible draw there for Seth. So
this is comical, actually, because the cat's going to come in now, and then he's going to take 2 from the damage.
Ouch.
Yep, that's game. The cat tends to have that effect on matchups. It's like, oh, you're hanging on for dear life. Well, let me help you get rid of those last few life points.
Yeah, let me push that over the edge a little bit there. That's for sure.
Alrighty, so game 3 going into Rei Sato versus Seth Manfield. If you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here for the Zendikar Rising Championship. We're glad to have you with us. What do we do against this sacrifice deck in game number 3?
So one thing that Seth has access to is Cry the Carnarium, which I kind of shadowed over Seth's testing group, and this was a card they were extremely high on here for this exact matchup, as well as Rakdos Sacrifice. So having 3 Cries plus 2 Extinction Events is exactly what you want against these sacrifice decks. So if you can't have Yasharn, that's probably the next best thing to make sure that you can just get rid of Cauldron Familiars altogether and just Scrap Heap Scroungers altogether. It's very, very strong here from Seth's side.
Now, you say you were shadowing them as they were picking their deck. Like, did they give an indication as to what their reasoning was to not going for the 4-color option?
Yeah, the main thing that they were thinking was just to be better in the mirror, not have as many tap lands. Yasharn is not good against Sultai in any regards, and this was the deck that they expected the most. I think like a lot of testing groups did, thinking that these Sultai 4-color decks were going to be the most played decks. So that's the main one, is they just really wanted to beat the mirrors as much as possible, or have every little edge.
All right, well, let's see if those edges do come to pass. There's a few more tweaks here and there. Just deliberating over the amounts of certain cards. And we're going to jump back into the action here very shortly and see who is going to win between Jund Sacrifice and Sultai Midrange. These are the 2 biggest decks in Historic this weekend.
By far, yep.
By far. And the appeal of playing them is just so incredibly high. It's like, you know, you either beat them or you join them.
100%. The power level on both decks is just through the roof. The synergies from the Jund Sacrifice list is just so strong. And then just the sheer power level from these Sultai / 4-color mid-range decks is something to really be afraid of.
Yeah, and these decks grind. I've been playing the 4-color mid-range deck a bunch, and it's just incredible the amount of value. What the heck is up with Rei Sato's hand?
Look at that hand. You need a Scrap Heap Scrounger? Well, here's 4 of them.
What are the odds of that?
Wow.
Someone in chat's going to be like, the odds of having 4 Scrap Heap Scroungers in your opening hand are exactly this. Thank you, chat.
We need Frank. Frank, please help us out. What are the odds that we take a Scrap Heap Scrounger on this? That's the real odds I want to know, and I think it's pretty low.
Well, you know, you can get rid of the cat and it doesn't come back for a while, or you grab Midnight Reaper and prevent any card draw for these things dying. So that's what we're going to do. Take that out of the hand and get things moving along.
Remember that cry?
He just draws another one.
Yeah, easy game. Remember the Cry of the Carnariums I was talking about? I think Seth wants to channel that energy and find one of them real quickly.
That would be super handy right about now, taking a look at that hand with all those 2 toughness creatures. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, that is a tough battlefield to beat without Cry, because no matter what, you just have to assume Rei is going to play or bring back a Scrounger every single turn until Seth does something big enough to stop that.
Oh, yes. And these guys, they just love munching on each other, right? Look at this. You got
Yes.
so much graveyard fodder now.
Yeah, and we already got a Midnight Reaper in the yard, so that first bring back is already, quote unquote free. Now, the thing that Ray really wants here is just another land. 2 lands here, deploying a Scrounger one at a time, totally fine, and can get the job done. But you want to start getting to the point where you can deploy 2 Scroungers or recur 1 plus deploy another or something like that.
Well, I'm going to need some mana to do that, and doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of it, as Dreadhorde Butcher is the draw. And will be the play here for Rei Sato. Will we see a fatal push on one of these creatures, or are we just going to hang back?
I would think you want to hit that Dreadhorde Butcher before it starts getting even more out of hand here. But we'll see if Seth wants to maybe look at one more draw step. I think that'd be reasonable, because if you draw Cry, you're like, dang, I didn't want to waste this fatal push here. But, every life point matters here. And not only are you taking 1 extra point if you don't fatal push, you're taking 1 extra point when you actually kill it. So it's kind of like you take 2 extra if you take it there.
Yeah. So it gets rid of the Dreadhorde Butcher, takes the point of damage from it dying. Fabled Passage has been very good to help trigger Revolt on the fatal push. And another fatal push is the draw, as we get the Hydroid Crisis down just as a little 2/2 on Chumpin' duty.
Yeah, Fatal Push being the big upgrade that we got from Kaladesh Remastered. We were playing Blood Chief's Thirst, maybe other 2-mana removal spells pre-Kaladesh, but this is huge there. Not only for Fabled Passage, but Uro going to the graveyard triggers Revolt as well. So Fatal Push just slots so nicely into these Sultai decks.
Oh, for sure. Rei Sato has found his 3rd mana, so Overgrown Tomb is going to come on in. Likely followed up by a Midnight Reaper, just to get some value off of the Scrap Heap Scrounger dying if the block is tendered.
Yeah, really smart play there, because that Crisis coming down as a 2/2 was just screaming, hey, I want to slow you down just a little bit, even though drawing 1 card here is not extremely powerful.
Oh, so no block there. Valuing not giving his opponent a card is Seth Manfield, as now the 2/2 is going to start chipping away in the air, being like, haha, psych, I'm actually attacking.
Yes, I will be the attacker. Now, the reason why I really love that no block is because we know Ray was short on land, because we did not play that 3rd land for a turn or 2 and then just played it. So you got to assume that Ray didn't have that many lands here. So good way to control that aspect from Seth Manfield.
Yeah, and now having this Elder Gargaroth down with no real clean answer to it from Rei Sato, it's just going to be a great way to pad the life total even more, just get up to a healthier life total and draw cards as needs be when the threat of dying to Scrap Heap Scroungers is over.
Wait a minute, are you saying 4 Scrap Heap Scroungers is not a good answer to Elder Gargaroth? I got to check my notes here, but yeah, all right, I guess you're right.
Or you just clog up the battlefield with beasts and trade. I mean, what would you go for here?
I think I would lean on drawing a card. You're still at enough of a high life total, but I think a 3/3 beast is totally reasonable as well. I don't think you need to gain life yet, because the 3/3 beast usually gains you 3 life by blocking a 3/3 anyways. So I think there's one of those 2, and both of them are really defensible.
All right, so it goes for the beast. Card drawn off the Scrap Heap Scrounger dying. Finds lands 4 and 5. And swirl on the kitty cat. Speak to me, kitty.
Yeah, Ray really needs those Noxious Grasp that were so helpful to him last game. We need to find those again, because Gargaroth is just an unbelievable threat here. Arguably the best threat in this situation right now, because it can't be hit by claims like Uro could. Nissa would be very strong as well, but Gargaroth is so good.
Lands are plenty here for Seth, flooding a little bit. Still has the Fatal Push out. Would love to get this Midnight Reaper off the battlefield. But for now, I think he's just going to be quite happy to chip away in the air, as the Zagoth Triumph is going to be cycled. Finds another land.
What that says to me is Seth does not plan on using the draw card ability of Elder Gargaroth, because in this type of situation, when you have 5 mana and you are going to draw a card off Elder Gargaroth, you would want to attack first. So I think you're 100% right. Seth wants to just flood the board with 3/3s and get this game over with before Rei finds a Noxious Grasp.
Yeah. Less than 9 minutes for both players now, so Seth puts the foot on the gas, takes a look at his options, and creates another 3/3, saying, all right, well, you have 3/2s, I've got 3/3s, let's boogie.
Yeah, really strong amount of pressure here from Seth. Has the option to put in an Overgrown Tomb, take some damage, and cycle another Triome to set some stuff up. But right now, Seth is just at such an advantage. I'd be shocked if he does just really do much of anything else until this Gargaroth is dealt with.
Yeah, desperation times here for Rei Sato now, as he's putting both creatures in front of Seth Manfield's attackers, digging as much as he can to try and find this Noxious Grasp, because this Elder Gargaroth is going to run away with the game, and it might have done so already.
Yeah, no kidding. This is a huge hit here. Nice hit for 7. The 2 creatures going to the graveyard is 2 points lost as well. So, I mean, we're already down to 5 or 7, excuse me. That's lethal next turn here, unless Rei finds something.
Has to find Noxious Grasp, finds a Plague Crafter. That's not going to do it. And a Witch's Oven. That's not going to do it either. Is there any way he can come back from this? Scrappy Scrounger returns to the battlefield, exiling one of its friends.
Yeah, I really don't think so. That is the one problem with these Jund Sacrifice decks. They don't play that well from behind unless you're behind because of 3 drops or less with Claim the Firstborn. That helps you catch up. But trying to catch up to a Nissa or an Elder Gargaroth is really an uphill battle.
It is indeed. Corvold Faker's King is an excellent draw, but too little too late and can't get it out. Well, could get it out, but at the risk of losing even more life and probably just dying straight on the spot. So it's going to be Witch's Oven that we turn to.
Yep, taking 2 from that, going to 5. You can block Elder Gargaroth, but then you take 5 from the Beast and the Crisis. So not an option right now as far as that goes. Yeah, brutal here.
Looks like we're going for the Playcrafter.
This was really the problem with this many Scroungers and not finding that 3rd or 4th land in an effective manner. We still see 3 of them in the hand. You know, Rei never had the time to deploy this many threats, even though that card is very powerful. Seth just put the pedal to the metal and put the giant threat out there and forced the action so fast this game.
Yeah, Scrappy Scrounger can't block, so he's just going to be there to be sacrificed to the Shaman. As that seems to be what Rei Sato is going for. At least has a block. Does that keep him alive, though? Playcrafter coming on down?
I don't think so.
Not even with Fatal Push?
Yeah, I mean, you can Fatal Push the Scrounger, and then the Playcrafter, you have to sacrifice that, I believe. Yeah, so you can just... Or you can just Fatal Push the Playcrafter after you sacrifice a permanent as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're all done here.
Yeah. This looks like it's going to be lethal next turn, as a creature will be sacrificed, but Fatal Push is active once that permanent leaves the battlefield. Goodbye, little beast.
Yeah, so a nice little start for Seth, it's looking like, but, you know, have no fear. We're still doing plenty fine if we're a Rei fan here. Not only in the league standings, but it's only round number 2. We got plenty of time to recover here.
Oh, for sure. Fatal Push not fired off there. The Playcrafter lives. You see Rei Sato's frustration there hovering over his hand. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to me because we can just block the Gargaroth, take a total of 6 now, and that Fatal Push just was lethal. Okay, I guess, yeah, you don't want to sack, or you don't want to Fatal Push there because you can sack the Crafter to Witch's Oven and then bring back Cat.
Fair.
I guess that goes to 8. Yeah, okay, all right. It's just not lethal no matter what this turn then, but still, being at 1 life is going to still be very tough.
All right. That clears that up as we swing in for an attack here. Elder Gargaroth going to be blocked by the Playcrafter. Down to 1. And unless something miraculous happens from Rei Sato's side, this should be Seth Manfield's game.
Yep, gonna be tough here. Now even the best draw of Noxious Grass just isn't enough. Being this low, you could Noxious Grass, maybe play a Scrounger, sack it to a cat, bring that back. That only gets you up to 2. The Flying Krasis would deal with it here. So this time, I don't see it an out here. Didn't Thoughtseize away though Corvault. That's interesting.
Corvault Faker's King enters the battlefield, gonna sacrifice a permanent, draw a card, get a counter. Finds a Woe Strider off the top of the library. Sacrifices, says good game.
Throws it in the
GG's
oven
all
just
around.
in case.
Bring the cat back, but Kitty Cat alone cannot stop a Gargaroth, and that is going to do it. Seth Manfield picking up the victory against Rei Sato. Corey, any final thoughts on that matchup there, my friend?
Yeah.